Welcome to the Hutchison House. I'm Leah Marlene. I have got an amazing video for you today. This is why many women, such as myself, and many people of all different colors, genders, everything, are going for Trump. Please, if you find value in this video, like, share, comment, subscribe so that we can get in the algorithm and share this information. Well, let's do this.
Those plans in recent days, your campaign slogan is a new way forward, and it's time to turn the page. You've been vice president for 3.5 years, so what are you turning the page from?
Well, first of all, turning the page from the last decade in which we've been burdened with the kind of rhetoric coming from Donald Trump that has been designed and implemented to divide our country.
But you, the Democrats, have been in power for 12 of the 16 years.
And have Americans literally point fingers at each other. Rhetoric and an approach to leadership that suggests that the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down instead of what we all know. The strength of leadership is based on who you lift up. The strength of an American president, which is one who understands that the vast majority of us have more in common than what separates us.
Madam Vice President, more than 70% of people
that is about turning the page on rhetoric that people are frankly exhausted of, Bret.
More than 70% of people tell the country is on the.
People are exhausted of your rhetoric, Kamala. People really are. And you're the one causing the division. See, this is classic narcissism. They project everything onto you that they are doing. And that's what creates the cognitive dissonance in some really good people. They're like, how can it be true that she's doing it? She's saying Donald Trump's doing it, so that must be true. And then they never watch. Some people never watch Donald Trump because they've been trained. Don't watch him. Don't listen to him. Just pay attention to the MSDNC and the clips that we give you that are completely out of context. Just watch that. Oh, my gosh.
Wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
I'm sorry, that is ridiculous. And he's been running for office. They didn't prime me on these questions. Look, this is insanity. Because he's been running for office, you can't do your job correctly? That doesn't even make sense.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm
He's like, I honestly don't. What are you talking about? What in the world are you talking about? Nobody knows what you're talking about, Kamala, except some really good people that have been, I'm sorry, brainwashed into thinking that you're just the only choice that isn't racist. Maybe she means a new way forward, meaning not America. No, a brand new way forward where we bash down the American citizens for wanting safety and health and well-being and being able to provide for their family. The new way forward is where we completely gaslight them into thinking they're bad people and racist and misogynists if they actually support women who are trying to build. That's the new way forward. Maybe that's what she means. See, she's a flipper scripper. So when she says turn the page, that's something narcissists do. They flip the script. That's what she means by turning the page. I mean, I'm going to flip flop on all my policies and then do whatever I want to do. That's the new way forward I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
talking about is that over the last decade, people have become, but listen, over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly the Republicans who are on stage with me, the former chief of staff to the president, Donald Trump, former defense secretaries, national security advisor, and his vice president, one, that he is unfit to serve, that he is unstable, that he is dangerous, and that people are exhausted with someone who professes to be a leader who spends full time demeaning and engaging in personal grievances and it being about him
Madam
instead
Vice
of
President,
the American people. People are tired of that.
If that's the
No, we're tired of you doing that. He doesn't do that. That's just the thing. It's like, talk about flipper scripper. You do that.
Why is half the country supporting him? Why is he beating you in a lot of swing states? Why, if he's as bad as you say, that half of this country is now supporting this person who could be the 47th president of the United States? Why is that happening?
This is an election for president of the United States. It's not supposed to be easy.
I know, but
It's not supposed to be. It is not supposed to be a cakewalk for anyone.
So are they misguided, the 50%?
Listen,
are they stupid?
No.
What?
See, she will not answer the question.
God, I would never say that about the American people. And in fact, if you listen to Donald Trump, if you watch any of his rallies, he's the one who tends to demean.
No. And here she says she wouldn't say that about the American people. So when she said that about us, I guess she doesn't consider Donald Trump supporters American. I mean, I don't. Oh my gosh, I don't get it.
And belittle and diminish the American people. He's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within, talking about the American people.
No, he's talking about the criminals, such as, okay, I'm going to try to play nice, but you guys, what do you think? Who do you think he's talking about? He's talking about criminals. He's not talking about good, upright American citizens. He's talking about criminals. And she calls the criminals citizens.
Suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people.
We asked that question to the former president today. Harris Falkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. No, but think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
So,
Bret, I'm sorry, and with all due respect, that clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
Yes, it is. You don't ever watch him. You just watch the little clips that you guys take out of context. Yes, that's what he's talking about. The enemy within are the people who are trying to destroy America that are here right now. That's what he's talking about.
He was asked about that specific...
No, that's not what you just showed. In all fairness and respect to you.
That was the question that we asked him.
You didn't show that, and here's the bottom line. He has repeated it many times, and you and I both know that. And you and I both know that he has talked about turning the American military on the American people. He has talked about going after people who are engaged in peaceful protest. He has talked about locking people up because they disagree with him. This is...
No, that's what you do. See the gaslighting here and the projection? That is exactly what she has been fiercely campaigning on for as long as I can remember. I mean, she just started, supposedly she just got inserted, but I don't think she's dumb. Okay. She just wants to play dumb sometimes so that she acts like she doesn't know what's going on. She didn't know that Biden wasn't doing well. She didn't know any of this, which also makes it very concerning that she thinks she can run the United States when she wasn't even aware of these things. But these are the things that she does. These are exactly the things that she does. He's never talked about turning the military against American citizens. He's talked about having the military deport the criminals who are hurting people here. Why are they protected? Why are the criminals protected? That's all he's talked about. He's never said, I'm going to turn the military on American citizens. He has said he's going to go after the rapists, you know what I'm talking about, the murderers, the people who have, done heinous crimes. He's going to go after those people and have the military help to deport them along with ICE. And, that's why are we calling these criminals American citizens? I don't believe that they deserve even if they got their citizenship here somehow, I don't think that they deserve that when they're harming Americans. That's the enemy within that he's talking about. But she likes to protect those people, not us, not true American citizens.
This is a democracy. And in a democracy, the president of the United States in the United States of America should be willing to be able to handle criticism without saying he'd lock people up for doing it. And this is what is at stake, which is why you have someone like the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff saying what Mark Milley has said about Donald Trump being a threat to the United States of America.
He's quoted in the
she's like, somebody help me over there, or her wing people over there. She's like, somebody help me. I mean, she is unhinged here. And this is her talking with an American citizen, a reporter. This is what she looks like. So imagine her dealing with world leaders on our behalf. This is what it looks like to be unhinged. She gets so upset when people mispronounce her name. She has a unique name and she can't handle that some people might mispronounce it. What is the big deal? My name is Leah. People say Leah or Lee all the time. I don't love it. It's not the end of the world. If I was running for president, I wouldn't campaign on it. That's what unhinged looks like right here.
The Bob Woodward book that way, yes. Let me ask you this, Madam Vice President. You call Donald Trump. You call Donald Trump. He's misguided. You say now
he's unstable. He is unstable, Bret.
He's not well. You say he's mentally not stable.
He's not stable.
Let me ask you this.
He's not stable. He is not stable. I mean, look at her. This is what not stable looks like, Kamala. And you don't even know what not stable looks like because you've been with Joe Biden and you thought he was wonderful. Well, probably you didn't, but you just lied to everybody, right? Which one is it?
Biden was on his game, that ran around circles on his staff. When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished?
Joe Biden, I have watched from the Oval Office to the Situation Room.
She's like, dang it. They did not prep me on this question. Nobody has asked me this question, Bret Baier. A lot of people have been wanting to ask you this question, and she's not going to answer it. She's going to lie. So watch her lie. Watch.
And he has the judgment and the experience.
Well, there she said the truth. He has the experiment. Well, we're tired of being your little experiment. We're tired of it. We're tired of being in your little petri dish experiment, Kamala. We want a country that is safe, that runs properly. We don't want this little experiment of yours anymore. A new way forward without America. We don't want that. We don't want that experiment.
To do exactly what he has done in making very important decisions on behalf of the American people.
There were no concerns raised?
Bret, Joe Biden is not on the ballot.
I understand.
And Donald Trump
but
is.
You talked about it.
And Donald Trump is.
Thank God he's on the ballot. Thank God Donald Trump's on the ballot. Thank God that he has the courage, wherewithal, knowledge, energy, stamina to deal with this BS on our behalf. Thank God.
Clooney said,
and she totally diverted that question.
Within a few minutes of talking to President Biden at a fundraiser, that he thought this was not the same Joe Biden that we saw on the debate stage.
Donald Trump is on the ballot.
I understand. You met with him at least once a week for 3.5 years. You didn't have any concerns?
Look at her. That was the behavior of, oh boy, I am caught and I don't know how to get out of this. I mean, she's furious that he asked this question. Nobody's asked her this.
I think the American people have a concern about Donald Trump, which is why the people who know him best
want to vote for him. Okay, let's move on. We're going to come back to that in a minute, but I want to show you. I want to show you all the women, not all the women, just a segment of women who really support Donald Trump. There's a lot more of us than the mainstream and media would like to let on. because right now that's the only margin that Kamala really has is the women. So please share this video, especially with people who are undecided, the women voters, but everybody.
The former president, all women. They put very specific and sometimes very personal questions to Trump on issues which matter most to them. The economy, crime, safety, abortion, childcare, illegal immigration, protecting women and girls in sports. Those questions and Trump's answers now. I want to introduce the 45th president of the United States, the Republican nominee for this year's presidential election, Donald J. Trump. Welcome. So I have to tell you,
Wow.
I'm getting a little taste of what it's like to roll with you. So early voting, just so you know, for the state of Georgia just began, and they're already at 250,000 people in early vote. That will break a record in the state.
We have the least amount of drugs. Everything was human trafficking, which is now 12 times higher than it was when, and it's trafficking, I hate to say this, mostly in women. It's a vicious thing because of the internet and because of this administration.
It's so true. My daughter and I have gone to 3 different parks on 3 different occasions and seen missing woman signs on the trees. Different women, my age, missing. I mean, this is just bizarre. This is commonplace nowadays. Terrible.
Maybe more so than the internet. But we had the safest border. We had the best economy. Think of it, a combination of security and finance and all of the other things. And we're going to make it even better. We're going to make the border even better. But the border can't, I mean, we did things with the border that nobody could have done, including we built 571 miles of wall. And that wall worked. Then I got Mexico to give us soldiers, a lot of soldiers, 28,000 soldiers to protect us. I said, you have to protect us because you're letting all of these criminals come into our country. You have to protect us. They said, we're not going to do it. I said, good, then I'm just going to tariff all your goods until you do it. They said, like I said, we're going to do it. And they gave us the soldiers. So we had great protection.
See, he knows how to negotiate with people. And of course, the left misconstrued that many times over. And he said that he thinks all Mexicans are criminals. No, he doesn't. The criminals are criminals. When you open up the borders, yeah, some good people are going to come in because they're trying to flee from a bad situation. But with that, a lot of bad people come in too. And Kamala never mentions the 310,000 plus children, immigrant children, mind you, who are missing. What about them? So when you open the borders wide up, it hurts everybody. And he speaks specifically to the criminals that are harming American citizens, immigrants, everybody. Criminals are criminals.
Best economy in the history of our country.
Okay.
Yes, best economy, safe. I mean, these are things everybody should care about. I want you to watch this single mom, and I want you to watch Trump's empathy with her and how he knows how to read a room. What I do for a living is I help people. I'm an acting teacher. I'm a director, personal development coach, and I specialize in reading behavior. So if you need help with that, by the way, check out the links in my bio. I can help you on stage, on camera, in life. It reaches far beyond just acting. But Donald Trump is very good at reading a room. He has tremendous empathy. He knows how to handle things in the moment, off the cuff. He doesn't have to read a teleprompter. He knows how to just think on his feet and have empathy, tremendous empathy. Watch this lady.
You have the next question. I know.
Hi, my name is Rachel Rachel S. here from Cumming, Georgia. I'm a single mom to 2 kids here. And just in 3.5 years, my child tax credit has decreased by 80% almost.
Get what? Excuse me?
Her child tax credit. has decreased by 80%.
That's
Sorry, my child tax credit has decreased by almost 80%. Daycare for the lowest amount is roughly $1,400 a month for one child here.
Yeah.
Last year, I broke my neck. I almost lost.
You have a beautiful voice, by the way.
Thank you.
It almost makes me want to cry because he's so smart. He sees that she's struggling. He sees that she's hurting, scared, sad, nervous to be talking to a former president and on television and all the things. And what does he do? He compliments her voice. He does that deliberately because he's smart and he has empathy. He's smart because he compliments her voice because people like me have been silenced. We're scared to speak up because it's been so bad. I'm a single mom. It's been so hard on people like me. And the pro-women people bash people like me down. They don't want me to have a voice. I don't count. And so what does he do? He compliments her voice because that's going to give her the courage to use it. It's genius.
Thank you so much. Yep. I'm having a panic attack right now. Like, don't panic.
I'm right here with you.
But last year I had broken my neck and
see, and now she's relaxed. He helped her. He basically coached her so that she can have a voice. That's empathy. That's intelligence. That's kindness. That's just common decency. It's amazing. Trump is awesome.
And I tried applying for any kind of assistance and was denied because I did not make less than $700 a month.
See, you have to be completely destitute in order to get any help, or an illegal immigrant. Then you get a lot of help. And that's what a lot of us are sad about. You know, as a single mom entrepreneur, it is really hard. It would almost be easier. God bless the drug addicts from all this fentanyl pouring in because of the open border. But, if they go into a sober living, they have all their needs met. They have their housing taken care of. Insurance covers it. Us taxpayers cover that. You're almost better off as an addict getting help. But somebody like me who's just hustling every single day to try to take care of my daughter and run my business, no, we don't count. People like her don't count. It's not fair.
And I'm shaking like a freaking leaf. I cannot stop. So I could not afford daycare. I obviously was having to go through physical therapy and a lot of issues, and I'm still having issues to this day.
Right, I understand.
But what kind of realistic changes do you think you can provide single parents, married parents, any kind of parent to just simply afford children in today's world with the way things are?
Right? It is not fair.
No.
You never heard of Ivanka, right? Ivanka. My daughter drove me crazy on this. We had the simplest, most beautiful, I gave you the largest tax cuts in the history of our country, okay? Larger than the Reagan cuts, larger. But my daughter, Ivanka, she said, Dad, we have to do tax credits for women, for the child tax credits. She was driving me crazy. Then I did it, and I got it just about done. Dad, you've got to double it up. I said, Ivanka, it was actually more complicated than the entire bill, but I got it done. And what we're going to do, and I'm going to, because I understand exactly what you're saying, we're going to readjust things so that it's fair to everybody, because it's really not fair to everybody. Readjust, because you have to make some readjustments. It's unfair to some people, and we're not going to have that. But she was the one that got it started. Those were our credits. Those were not the Democrat credits. A lot of Republicans said, rightfully, don't do it because we never get credit for that. We're not known for that. But the truth is, I wanted to put it all in the form of the tax cut. So I got the maximum tax cut, but we're also bringing down the taxes for companies and for people. We're bringing it down to 15%. And for companies, only if you make your product, build your product in the USA. Otherwise, you don't get it. So
hey, see, that's just smart. It's smart business. He gets it. He completely gets it. Let's check back in with Kamala. As a friendly reminder of why many people are going for Trump. because we care. We care about people like this. Hello, welcome to the Hutchison House Reacts. Thank you so much for everybody who has been subscribing. I really appreciate you. Let's get this information out there. We are 3 weeks to the election. Why is the Make America Great Again movement getting so big? And why do women like me vote for people like Donald Trump when, you know, MSDNC is saying that he's a misogynist? Well, first of all, because he's not. First of all, because he supports women like myself. He supports women of all different types of skin color too, by the way. He supports women because he wants us to be safe. He wants us to be healthy. He wants us to be able to make money. That's for everybody. That's for everybody. But especially for me, because as a woman, you know, having to provide for my daughter, safety is a really big, important thing. And having to provide for my daughter, being able to make money is a very important thing. The more that I can provide for us, the more that I can give from the overflow. If I'm destitute, I can't help my daughter. I can't help anybody. How is that pro-woman to knock somebody like me down? Now, I know a lot of women in my age group, unfortunately, are going for Kamala because they think that that's the way they have to go because they're so woke. But really, they're not awake at all because they're not supporting somebody like me. They want me to be silenced. They want me to not have a voice at all. So here's some of the reasons why I'm voting for Trump. I'm not here to tell you who to vote for, but I am going to share what I think because I've silenced myself long enough. As a director, an acting teacher, personal development coach, I work with a lot of artists and I love artists. And I've silenced myself because I've been so scared of them attacking me or taking away my livelihood because I want a safe border, because I care about the 310,000 children that are missing, because I don't want this heavy crime to be running rampant in the streets. These policies help everybody, but I've been so scared to speak up about it because you know, you'll have your business stripped away because that's pro-woman. My daughter and I could be attacked because that's pro-woman. I can't even wear a hat like this down the street because I would be too scared that I'd be attacked. How is that pro-woman? It's not. So these are some reasons why I support Trump, because he actually cares about protecting us.
Pollsters all over the country and here in Pennsylvania that immigration is one of the key issues that they're looking at this election, and specifically the influx of illegal immigrants from more than 150 countries. How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the last 3.5 years?
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue of immigration because I agree with you. It is a topic of discussion that people want to rightly have. And you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but
right
Yes, and she's going to blame Trump, even though 6 Democrats voted against the bill, including Bernie Sanders. And she's never going to mention numbers. I mean, not only does she not want to mention numbers because she can't whip out numbers at the top of her head like Trump can because he's a businessman. He understands how to crunch numbers, how to make numbers work and all of that. But in this case, she doesn't want to mention numbers because it makes her look bad. Plus, nobody really knows. We don't know how many millions of people have come in. Now, some of those people are really good people, yes. They're coming in illegally thanks to her, and it actually doesn't support them either because their children are going missing. Women are getting beaten up, men too. But with that, a lot of criminals are coming in, and that's just a fact. It's just an absolute fact.
Just a number. Do you think it's 1 million, 3 million?
Bret, let's just get to the point. Okay, the point is that we have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
So your Homeland Security Secretary said that 85% of apprehensions.
I'm not finished. We have
it's a rough estimate of 6 million people have been released into the country. And let me just finish. I'll get you the question.
It's broken because you done broke it, Kamala. It wasn't a problem like this before you and Biden came into office. It wasn't. I mean, we notice a direct difference between 3.5 years ago and today. Fentanyl, covering the streets, people dying in nice neighborhoods, and gunshots every single night. I live in a nice neighborhood. I look on my Ring app, gunshots every single night. And some people like to say, oh, they gaslight you. Oh, that's just any big city. No, it isn't. That's not how Denver, Colorado was, but that's how it is now. It wasn't like this 3.5 years ago. Not everywhere in Denver. Now it's everywhere, except in the gated communities. But right outside the gates, it's happening.
Question, I promise you.
I was beginning to answer.
And when you came into office, your administration immediately reversed a number of Trump border policies. Most significantly, the policy that required illegal immigrants to be detained through deportation, either in the U.S. or in Mexico. And you switched that policy. They were released from custody awaiting trial.
And she released some criminals, some people who were actually detained, and then they wouldn't have been able to do the crimes that they've been doing. But instead, she released them. That's fact.
Instead, included in those were a large number of single men, adult men, who went on to commit heinous crimes. So, looking back, do you regret the decision to terminate Remain in Mexico at the beginning of your administration?
At the beginning of our administration, within practically hours of taking the oath, the first bill that we offered Congress, before we worked on infrastructure, before the Inflation Reduction Act, before the Chips and Science Act, before the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the first bill, practically within hours of taking the oath, was a bill to fix our immigration system.
Yes, ma'am. It was called the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021.
Exactly.
It was essentially a pathway to citizenship for the. Yes, ma'am.
May I finish responding, please?
But
you have to let me finish.
You
please.
had the White House and the House and the Senate,
I'm
and they didn't bring up that bill.
Responding to the point you're raising,
okay.
And I'd like to finish.
Yes, ma'am.
We recognized from day one that, to the point of this being your first question, it is a priority for us as a.
Then why haven't you fixed it? Why haven't you been able to fix it in 3.5 years? And why is it that you think that we should give you a promotion when it hasn't even been fixed? Not only that, but it's gotten worse.
Nation and for the American people. And our focus has been on fixing a problem. And from day one, then, we have done a number of things, including to address our asylum system and put more resources, getting more judges, what we needed to do to tighten up penalties and increase penalties for illegal crossings, what we needed to do to deal with points of entry between border entry points. That's the work we did, and we worked on supporting what was a bipartisan effort, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress.
Well, it's not working. Whatever you were trying to do isn't working. And so I don't want to give you a promotion. It's nothing personal. It has nothing to do with the fact that you're a woman or your skin color. It has the fact to do with that I care about women, all American women, and all the immigrant children who are hurt because of this policy.
To actually strengthen the border. That border bill would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border, which is why I believe the Border Patrol agents supported the bill. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States, which is a scourge affecting people of every background, every geographic location in our country, killing people. It would have allowed us to put more resources into prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, which I have done as the Attorney General, former Attorney General of a border state.
Madam Vice President, a couple of things.
Prosecuted trafficking of drugs, guns, and human beings. And Donald Trump, but let me just finish.
6 Democrats voted against that bill.
Learned about that bill and told them to kill it because he preferred to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
And there is her script. And so it's all Donald Trump's fault. And so in order to get anything done, we need Donald Trump. I mean, that's basically what she's saying. So why would we vote for you, Kamala, if we need Donald Trump to get anything done?
And in this election, this is rightly a discussion that the American people want to have. And what they want are solutions. And they want a president of the United States who's not playing political games with the issue.
I hear you.
I hear you too. That's exactly what I'm saying. I don't want a president who's playing political games with the issue. But you are, otherwise you could have fixed this. It's like Donald Trump even said, he's like, you don't even need a bill anyway. You know, you could have had Joe Biden just call up and say, hello, this is the president of the United States. Close the border. That's it. Simple, done. Why can he do that, but you can't?
But actually is focused on fixing it.
6 Democrats voted against that bill. It would have allowed 1.8 million illegal immigrants.
He's saying it. Look, see, these are the 6 Democrats who voted against it. Oh, I'm so excited that he said this. People keep not mentioning this, like the moderators and all the things in the debate didn't mention this. A lot of people don't realize this. Look at this. 6 Democrats that voted against it.
Immigrants into the country a year. A lot of conservatives had a problem with it. These are the 6 Democrats. But more importantly, back to the original premise, Jocelyn Nungari, Rachel Morin, Laken Riley, they are young women who were brutally assaulted and killed by some of the men who were released at the beginning of the administration, well before a negotiated bipartisan.
Isn't that so sad? So why are women like me voting for Trump? Because I care. I care about these poor girls who lost their lives because of these policies. I like Donald Trump because he cares about these women. Kamala has never even mentioned these women. I think this is the first time I've ever even seen her talk about these women. Let me know if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe she's talked about them. I've never heard her in all the research I've been doing.
Partisan bill. Former President Clinton actually referred to Laken Riley Sunday campaigning for you in Georgia, saying if those men had been properly vetted, Laken Riley probably would not have been killed. So if it wouldn't have happened.
If they had been properly vetted, those girls could be alive. What did he just say? What did he just say? Did he say Hillary Clinton was out campaigning for her and she said that? So then they're admitting that? Hold on, let's watch that again.
Former President Clinton actually referred to Laken Riley Sunday campaigning for you in Georgia.
Bill Clinton said it as he was campaigning for her. What? I mean, I'm not a fan of Bill Clinton, but I think he just threw you under the immigration bus, Kamala.
Saying if those men had been properly vetted, Laken Riley probably would not have been killed. So if it wouldn't have happened, this is well before any negotiation. This is well before Donald Trump got involved in the politics. This is a specific policy decision by your administration to release these men into the country. So what I'm saying to you, do you owe
Bret,
those families an apology?
Let me just say, first of all, those are tragic cases. There's no question about that. There is no question about that. And I can't imagine the pain that the families of those victims have experienced for a loss that should not have occurred. So that is true. It is also true that if a border security had actually been passed 9 months ago, it would be 9 months.
Wait, did she just admit that it is true that if those people had been properly vetted, that this wouldn't have happened? Look, people like me who are voting for Trump and other people can't believe it. Why is a woman voting for him? He's a misogynist. It's because I care about people like that. And look, it's because when people are properly vetted, come over. We're a melting pot in the United States. It's wonderful. Immigration is wonderful. Do people forget that Donald Trump is even married to an immigrant? People forget that? It's a wonderful thing, but it helps everybody, including the immigrants, when people are properly vetted. That's it. That's not racist. That's common sense.
That we would have had more border agents at the border, more support for the folks who are working around the clock, trying to hold it all together.
Madam Vice President.
To ensure that no future harm would occur. And this election in 20 days will determine whether we have a president of the United States who actually cares more about fixing a problem, even if it is not to their political advantage in an election, because there was a solution, Bret.
Madam Vice President, it was a policy decision in the early part of your administration. I will let one of the mothers Talk about it. Take a listen.
Because of the Biden-Harris administration open border policies catch and release, they were enrolled in the Alternatives to Detention program. This meant that they were released into the United States. It was not even a full 3 weeks later that they would take my daughter, Jocelyn Nungare's life. I believe the Biden-Harris administration open border policies are responsible for the death of my daughter.
That's the early days. So do you owe them an apology is what I'm saying.
I will tell you that I am so sorry for her loss. I'm so sorry for her loss, sincerely. But let's talk about what is happening right now with an individual who does not want to participate in solutions.
She couldn't even keep that as a complete sentence. I'm so sorry for their loss. That's horrible. Full stop. Begin a new sentence. No, she had to say, I'm so sorry for their loss. But, not my fault, but, I mean, that's not a sincere apology. That's like when somebody says to you, you know, I'm so sorry I hit you, but your face just, it really shouldn't have been in the way. That's what narcissists do. I'm sorry. That's what narcissists do.
Let's talk about that as well.
But do you want to answer
in all
her?
fairness, I told you, I feel awful for what she and her family have experienced.
During that time, you said repeatedly that the border was secure. When in your mind did it start becoming a crisis?
I think we've had a broken immigration system transcending, by the way, Donald Trump's administration, even before. Let's all be honest about that. I have no pride in saying that this.
So then you decide to open the borders wide open. Come on in, everybody. And anyone who wants border control is a racist. And let's call the wall Trump's vanity wall. Like, talk about not wanting to fix a problem. He actually had real solutions. You said that the wall was a vanity project, and then you didn't complete it. Okay, I'm gonna try to stay nice and soft, nice and soft and quiet here.
This is a perfect immigration system. I've been clear, I think we all are, that it needs to be fixed. We need more. I was just down at the border talking with border agents, and they will tell you, and I'm sure you probably.
Yes, we saw you in your khaki pantsuit. We saw the wardrobe stylist had the perfect border outfit for you. I mean, it's like she's just in a movie. She's Hollywood's big, American girl now. Get her in the khaki pantsuit. It goes with the border. It's so chic. We saw it. Kamala, we saw it. That was the first time you've even been to the border in 3.5 years. I mean, you went to a nice part of the border before, but not like where people are getting really harmed, where kids are getting harmed. You don't want to look at that. You don't even want to admit that there's criminals a part of some of the millions of people coming in. Of course, there's going to be some criminals.
I know you investigate and you are a serious journalist. They will tell you, we need more judges. We need to process those cases faster. We need the support for those cases that should be prosecuted.
Did you see how she tried to butter him up? She's like, you're a serious journalist. Let me try to smooth talk you a little bit now. Okay.
They need more resources, and Congress ultimately is the only place that's going to get fixed, Bret.
Well,
that's how this system works.
That's the premise of this question.
But
there were
that's how
90.
So why did the 6 Democrats who are supposed to be like on your side, why did they vote against it? How come?
Plus executive orders that were rescinded in the first days. Many of those were Trump border policies. I'm not going to stay here because there's other things to talk about, but you frequently talked to the Border Patrol Union for support of that bipartisan bill, and they did. They supported it. But they also just endorsed Donald Trump and said, you've been, quote, a failure with border security. Why do you think they said that?
I think they're frustrated, and I get it. They want support. They want support, and that's what that border security.
But why are they endorsing Trump if they want support? And not you, if you've been doing such a wonderful job for the past 3.5 years. And I know you're Madam Vice President, and everyone wants to paint it as all you're doing is eating bonbons and just getting foot baths all day long. But you do have pull as the vice president. And why didn't you talk to Biden and say, this is an issue? Let's fix it.
Bill would have done. These guys down at the border, these men and women, they're working hard. They're working around the clock. I get it.
There's a lot of people that look back at what you said in 2019 when you first ran for president. And there have been changes, and you've talked about some of them. When it comes to immigration, you supported allowing immigrants in the country illegally to apply for driver's license, to qualify for free tuition at universities, to be enrolled in free health care. Do you still support those things?
Listen, that was 5 years ago, and I'm very clear that I will follow the law. I have made that statement over and over again, and as Vice President of the United States, that's exactly what I've done, not to mention before.
If that's the case, you chose a running mate, Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, who signed those very things into state law. So do you support that?
We are very clear.
We are very clear. We're very clear. Wait, what am I supposed to say here? Oh, yeah, we're clear. A middle-class family. Oh, clear. Short circuit. What are we supposed to say? Let me be clear. It's a right to think about that. It's a right, and it's rightfully right to think about these things. And the Americans have the right. And so what we were doing yesterday is what we did yesterday. And what we're going to do today is what we're going to do today. What we're going to do tomorrow is what we did yesterday.
Clear, and I am very clear, as is Tim Walz, that we must support and enforce federal law, and that is exactly what we will do.
So decriminalizing border crossings, like you said in 2019.
I do not believe in decriminalizing border crossings, and I've not done that as vice president. I will not do that as president.
So these are evolutions that you've had.
But let's be very clear. I'm the only person who's running for president who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations, from the Sinaloa cartel to the Guadalajara cartel.
Transnational criminals. Well, I mean, if you're the one prosecuting and doing all these things, you're not doing a good job. And I mean, you're not a prosecutor anymore. How come she always calls upon, when she was a prosecutor, she calls upon being a middle-class kid, having a nanny? That's what taught her about business, because she went to a daycare center. And so she thinks she understands business because she went to a daycare center and that lady was running a small business. And then she thinks that she understands about border control because she calls everybody who wanted it racist. And then she just goes back to her prosecuting days as her record. She doesn't give me anything that she's done as vice president as a record that she's proud of. Nothing. If you think, let me know. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little mad. Let me know if you love Kamala. What has she done that you loved? What has she done to increase our safety? What has she done to help the economy? What has she really done to help women? Some people who love her say, well, because Trump has banned abortion, he's going to do a national abortion ban. That's a lie. He's not going to do a national abortion ban. All he did was he put the decision into the state's hands. And by the way, across all 50 states, nobody is getting turned away for the life of the mother.
Cartel, to people who have trafficked in guns, drugs, and human beings. I have spent a significant part of my career going after people who present a threat to the safety of the American people.
As vice president, you did that? When did you do that as vice president? I would like to know. You never let us know, but you do say it when you were a prosecutor. So what did you do as vice president, and why do you deserve a promotion? Could you imagine if we could rewind time and it was back to the days when Trump had The Apprentice? Could you imagine her on The Apprentice? Do you think that she would come up with smart business ideas? And yes, America is a business. And the more that we succeed as a business, the more we can help people who need our help around the world. That's not rude. That's actually nice. And
cross our border with the intent of doing us harm and cross our border illegally, and I will do that work as vice president. I take that work quite seriously.
We'll do that as vice president? Did she just say that? Did she just say that she'll do that as vice president? She is vice president. She just forgot. Hold on, let's watch that.
A significant part of my career going after people who present a threat to the safety of the American people and cross our border with the intent of doing us harm and cross our border illegally. And I will do that work as vice president. I take that work quite seriously.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey,
She'll do that as vice president. She's going to do that as vice president. What are we worried about? Why are we worried about it? She's going to do it as vice president. So it's fine. Oh, Lord, that was bad. What did you guys think of that interview? Okay, now we're going to watch why many women are supporting Trump and why, if you're on the fence and you're a woman, this is why voting Trump could be a great thing. I'm not going to tell you what to do because I believe in freedom of thinking, but I'm going to tell you what I think. And these are some reasons why I think Donald Trump could be a great choice, because he's going to help us to be safe.
I'm your protector. I want to be your protector. As president, I have to be your protector. I hope you don't make too much of it. I hope the fake news doesn't go, oh, he wants to be their protector. Well, I am. As president, I have to be your protector. You will no longer be abandoned, lonely, or scared. You will no longer be in danger. You're not going to be in danger any longer. You will no longer have anxiety from all of the problems our country has today.
Thank God.
You will be protected, and I will be your protector. Women will be happy, healthy, confident, and free.
And the thing is, he's all for IVF, all these lies that they say. No, apparently they never watch an actual anything that he says. They just spin it to be negative. That's what they do.
Explain to me how I can look at my daughters and have them look up to a President Trump as a role model.
Well, first of all, nobody. Who asked you to give this question? Did Anderson? No. This is a CNN, by the way.
No,
this is a CNN setup, but that's it.
See, and this was from years ago, but he has such a great sense of humor. Another reason why I love him. But even if he didn't have a good sense of humor, which he does, he's a comedic genius. He can speak off the cuff for hours and hours. He knows how to run numbers. He knows how to fix problems, and he knows how to actually protect people. And so he is a wonderful role model for women. And all those allegations are just allegations anyway. And by the way, Clinton actually did things, former President Clinton, and nobody seems to care about that. But we'll just brush that right on over. You know, we forget all about Monica Lewinsky and all of that. Like, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Let's worry about things that Trump didn't do that we made up that he did. Let's worry about that. But this is from a long time ago, but watch this.
It's not that. Nobody.
They wouldn't all be laughing either if they really thought he was a misogynist. They'd just be like, he's scary, man. But he's not. He's warm. He's friendly. He's smart.
He has more respect.
Just for the record, we did
That's
not
okay,
tell anybody any questions.
Nobody has more respect for women than I do.
Nobody respects women more than I do. I respect women more than I respect men. Are the men insulted by that, by the way?
We won with women. I love the women.
I cherish women.
Nobody respects women more than I do.
Respect women. I love women. I cherish women. I respect women.
It's very true. But I guess it's because they think this is, you know, it's manly. This ad that they did is manly. That's what they think is manly, not actually protecting. And let's watch what Kamala and her camp believes men should be like, which is totally ridiculous and stereotypical. And I thought a man could be whatever, which way he wants to be. It's just an idea anyway, according to them. So this is like goes against, this is the flipper scripper stuff, but it's insulting, I think. If I was a man voting for Kamala, this would be enough to turn me pro-MAGA. Let's make America great again, because this is ridiculously insulting. What do you think? Have you seen this?
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man.
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I believe him. I believe that.
I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
Unless it comes to injections, then you better get it. And if you're worried about that because insurance doesn't cover injection injuries, then who cares? We'll just call you names and that you don't care about people. You've got to inject yourself because I care about bodily autonomy. So hypocritical.
Want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
And Trump is pro IVF, by the way.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Huh? Look, I like Trump a lot. I may even love the guy because he's going to make America great again. He's brave enough and strong enough and smart enough to do it. And also because he's really funny. But I'm not giving him my full-throated endorsement. What? That's gross. Let's listen to that one more time. That is just weird. Who is the writer on this thing?
Full-throated endorsement.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
You're lost right now. Are you gonna come on over to the MAGA movement? We will. We'll give you direction. I'm glad he could admit it.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man enough to raw dog a flight.
Huh? What does that even mean? Raw dog a flight. I'm man enough to take on this commercial as an actor because the economy is so bad that I'll do anything to try to pay the rent, even if it means doing this horrible commercial.
It sucked. Not worth it.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse.
But your horse doesn't even want to be in this commercial. He's like, nay. Look, I don't even think that horse has legs. Okay, it's hiding behind here. They couldn't even get an AI horse to do this commercial. They're like, nay, not doing it.
I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually. Good Will Hunting.
West Side Story.
That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful.
So Trump trying to protect us from human traffickers is a way for him to feel more powerful? Or is that just kindness and nice? Is this guy protecting us? I don't think so. But he wanted the paycheck for this. I understand. He's an actor, and yeah, I get it. Times are rough.
That's not how my mama raised me.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
I'm man enough to have a gun to my head to do this commercial. Okay, what did you guys think of that? On a happy note, I really want to share this with you. I shared this once before in another video that I did. This is the MAGA people, Nicole Shanahan's brilliant ad. And there was a bad thing with the audio. The audio had been removed, the music. So I wanted to share a clean copy of this for anybody who hasn't seen it. And if you have seen it, watch it again, share it with somebody, because this really does depict what the MAGA movement is all about, why people like me are voting for Trump. And I want to know what you think. I appreciate you. I thank God for you. Let's make America great again.
Across the Atlantic in the North American country of the United States lies a fascinating and often misunderstood collective. From its northeastern cities to its midwestern towns to its expansive west, this courageous group of individuals are most notably known for their unwavering patriotism. Join us as we explore the fascinating world of the MAGA people. As we embarked on our journey, we were judicious in taking all necessary precautions. Our media had warned us that these were a vicious, radical, and even deplorable people. Contrary to what we had been told, we found the MAGA people to be warm, loving, and even rather cheeky at times. As we spent time with the MAGA people, we learned that their mantra, "Make America Great Again," is an optimistic belief that the United States will once again prosper by returning to its founding principles of a government by and for the people. Under these beliefs, the MAGA people strive to protect America's Constitution, freedom of its citizens, health of its people, and a yearning to restore the American dream that existed not so long ago. Notice their rather wholesome, familial demeanor. They often talk about their love of family, the importance of truth, and a desire for basic human rights. As they strive to uphold the peace and harmony throughout their communities, the MAGA people are insistent on protecting their borders. However, they are not inherently confrontational, as they advocate for ending the wars and military presence abroad. Further observations reveal that MAGA people come from all walks of life, including farmers and ranchers, family-owned businesses, entrepreneurs, health advocates, blue-collar workers, and military servicemen. And just recently, the MAGA people joined forces with another group, the MAHA people. Together, the MAGA and MAHA have started a movement to make America healthy again. As we departed back to our native land, we couldn't help but reflect on all that the MAGA people had taught us. Once perceived as a dangerous and barbaric group, we found ourselves feeling enlightened by the MAGA's moral, ethical, and honest ways of life. One could only hope that a similar movement would eventually emerge for us.
What do you think of that? I love that ad. So I really wanted to play it again, and so I did. If you found value in this video, please do subscribe. Voices like mine, a lot of people want to silence because they don't want people to know that women are voting for truth, for health, for safety, for common sense economics, for helping people of all different colors, even immigrants, so that they can come here safely and thrive. If you believe in that, please do subscribe, share this video, and comment below with what you think. Thanks for being here.